Hi, I'm here with Jordy Cruz, who is a sophomore at Mojave High School in the Clark County School District in Las Vegas. And Jordy, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to have you as a young person and your perspective on this whole conversation that we're having.
I'm glad to be a part of it today.
As we discussed, Jordy, the work that we're doing at ed.Xtraordinary in partnership with our State Department of Education is to build a portrait of a Nevada learner. And the idea of this portrait is that we can identify mindsets and skills that are really important that young people experience all through their education so that they're smart in all the ways that you need to be smart in the world so that you're prepared to live and work and pursue the kinds of things that are going to make you successful in your life. And so we kind of just want to talk a little bit about some things from your perspective as a young person in a school in Nevada, just kind of real talk about what you think. Sound good?
That sounds really good.
I love it. So the first question I want to ask you is, when you think about your life, how do you think about what a good life is? What do you want? When I say, hey, Jordy, when you think about your future and you want to live a good life, talk to me about what a good life is.
Living a good life to me is maybe like doing what you want to do, kind of. You don't want one person controlling you around or like hitting you hard in your emotions, stopping you at one point. Living life is like literally living life. So you want to do everything you can to live life, everything you want, no matter what someone else says. You could do anything, right?
So I'm
That's
hearing,
my mission.
I hear a lot of freedom, choice,
Right.
being able, a word we talk around a lot about is agency, being able to make decisions about what you want and then being able to actually have an idea and then be able to make it happen.
Right.
Okay. So now I'm going to take this question a step further and ask you, when you think about a community, okay, so we talked about a good life for you as an individual. When you think about a good life for your community, what would that look like? What is a group of people in community with each other? What makes them thrive? What makes them be able to live and do what they want to do? Like what are the elements of a thriving community from your standpoint?
Thriving community, communication amongst others. So
Say
you
more
want to,
about that.
yeah, you want to have good communications with other people around your community, and all be one. Like y'all don't want to argue every day. I mean, everybody wants to be peaceful type.
What do you think it takes to have that kind of communication inside of, because a community is sometimes people that are similar, but it's also sometimes people that are different. What does it take to have that kind of good communication?
Trust.
Okay. And how do we build trust?
Ooh, kind of hard of me to think because trust.
Let me rephrase it. Think about somebody that you trust or who trusts you. What's happening in that relationship so that there's trust?
I tell them everything what I go through, like everything that happens, mainly like every day, like what I go through, how I'm feeling, and they help me out with it. So probably my friends from school,
Mm-hmm.
I trust them because I tell them a lot of things that I want to be telling my family about, like my siblings. Because it's kind of weird just telling your siblings something because I don't really click with them like that. But they're family, so of course I'm automatically trust them since I know them since birth.
So what I'm hearing you say is that in order to have trust in a community, you have to be able to talk about things that matter to you.
Yeah, and they mainly agree with you or like don't be too judgmental. They accept it.
So they have to be able to listen.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay. That's good. So I'm just gonna like rewind. Good life is being able to pursue the things. Where'd you go, Jordy? There you are. A good life. A
Something.
good life. A good life are the things are being able to do make choices and do things that matter to you and be able to kind of go in any different direction that you want to be able to go and be able to actually do it. A thriving community, a really important component of that to you is being able to communicate with people, maybe different people, but be able to do that because you have a sense of trust, because you're able to share things that are important to you. And then we got back down to listening, which is awesome. And so now I'm going to zoom out even further. One more question. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What's one role that you think school could play in helping prepare people to have good lives and be a part of a thriving community? What's one thing you think school could really do to help make that happen?
Not be too strict. Not be too strict, because a lot of times, a lot of people like to wear stuff they like. And then, of course, school policy doesn't prohibit. And then kids, like, they have to stick to wearing what the school wants, and they don't like feeling it themselves. They get other people's opinions about it, and it'd be plain. Did that make sense?
Well, I think what I'm hearing you say when you say that is it's not just about dress code necessarily. It's about, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, if I'm getting what you're saying.
So others' opinions. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No.
Okay, but about like speaking up, like with our prep call that one day, just schools also need to really listen up, because it's mainly the only people that really listen up is probably the active teachers or maybe your counselors. Because now a lot of like deans don't be listening. They actually don't really care about your opinion. Just like that one day when there's a girl talking to one of the deans, talking back, kind of having her word on what the situation was about. He kind of just didn't want to listen and just kind of left.
So school, I'm gonna kind of like, if I'm right, I'm writing this down like in my mind right now. Like, how can school create a space? You started off with being less restrictive, but then I also heard listening and creating a space for like, where's your point of view? Where is your expression in what you wear and how you move through your day? Feeling like you have that sense of ownership, or you're able to show up fully authentically, like as who you are, and feeling like that's a place that you can be. And Jordy, that ties back to what you said, because if you believe a good life is being able to pursue things that matter to you, then those have to be real things that are authentic to you, and you have to have the space to explore that. And if a good community is one where there's communication and trust, then there's also this like authenticity again that has to show up so that people can actually be that way for each other and with each other.
Right.
Okay.
I agree on. You made it simple for me. Yeah, I like that.
What did you say?
You made it simple for me, because I kind of made it confusing for myself.
Well, I'm also just hearing what you're saying, and I'm just trying to tie it together because in this larger conversation, you're doing great. Okay, so I want you to think about one or two skills. So like not necessarily academic skills, but like skills that are really help you, that help. What are one or two skills that really help you succeed in your life right now? Like, what are things that like make you better at anything you're doing?
Communication, because it goes well when I'm cutting hair, because I like having combos with my clients, building up clientele.
Okay.
And second, building relationships, which is also a part of clientele. Because once you build relationships, they could connect you with others, which gives you better opportunities.
Yeah, I love that. So relationships. So again, back to communication, how we relate to each other, how we build trust with each other so that we actually want to work with each other and create connections and opportunities across networks so that we can help you do the thing you want to do, help me do the thing that I want to do. That's how the world works. I think that's a very insightful, insightful comment right there. What's one thing you would love to tell that you think adults inside education need to know about learning to make it better for you? What's one piece of advice that you could give? adults. And I just want to say, as a former educator, I always
Yeah.
like to ask my students, like, tell me what's working, what's not working, but what's one piece of advice that you could give us to make things better for you?
They need to sound like they have enthusiasm, or like when they teach, because most of the time they just like, yeah, do this, do that, and open your Chromebooks, go on Clever. They just like, it's real boring, you know. Because for me, I like being active. I like talking a lot with my teachers. I like kind of like communicating a lot in class. And so when it's just real boring or what they have to say, it just, I don't really give into it. I need some energy from the teachers, you know?
I like energy. Do you prefer to learn by building things and making things, and or do you rather learn like in your seat, online, better just talking with each other? Like how do you learn best?
I learn best from building things because there could always be an error. You fix it and you learn from it.
Yeah. That's a very simple and a pretty profound statement. We learn by building things because we see what works and then we see what doesn't, and then we make it better. Jordy, that's really what this process that we're doing with building this portrait of a learner is about. We're building it through conversation. We're building it through feedback. We're building it through voices of people that sometimes really aren't at the table when we talk about education and changing it. And I think all of those insights can help us build an idea and then keep reworking it so that it's a little bit better, so that we can make things better for our learners, someone like you. So, hey, thanks for your time and your insights. We really appreciate it. You can stay updated on the process, access tools to host your own conversations, and share the results with us, and follow along with the monthly virtual talks about the portrait at portrait.nvfutureoflearning.org. Again, that's portrait.nvfutureoflearning.org.